The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Welcome everyone to Straight from the Paws. Today I have with me my co-host and treasurer for Forever Paws, Beverly Andrade.
Hi everybody.
And as you can see, we have a Christmas tree there. So we're going to begin by talking about our Festival of Trees. Bev, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, it was quite a huge success, I have to say. We actually had 92 trees on that day, correct?
95.
95?
95.
Oh my God, I lost track. So we had 95 trees on that day. That's quite a lot of trees. The event was a perfect success. There was no problems. The end of the day, we apologize, but we cannot go faster at the end of the day. Yeah. It's impossible. We don't want people to get the wrong trees, so we have to work crazily, keeping everything in order to make the trees come out so that you get the correct tree and the correct objects around the tree. And you cannot do that fast. It's totally impossible to do it fast. Some people said, oh, you can do this a lot faster at the end, but we really can't. Keeping track of everything is imperative to make it run smoothly. And we do ask people to be available to pick up the trees at 7 o'clock. By 7 o'clock.
By 7 o'clock. And I will say that I do the counting to see how many people were there, and we had like 860 people that signed in. And then you got to remember that there are couples that come in with their children and stuff. So we had over 1,000 people again this year, and that was a big success. And we thank everyone that came and participated. We do have a few new people that want to do a couple of trees next year.
I've got their names all written down.
We're excited about that. And also what Bev was talking about, we also came up with another idea. We had one poor woman that she put her number down, and her husband insisted that it was a reverted number, and so she went about and
so
she
like
used all the
a 23,
tickets.
he said 32,
right, and
something like that.
She made a mistake, put all the tickets in, and came back and wanted to purchase some more tickets, which is usually what happens, thankfully. And she found out Bev was the one that took care of her, and she said, "No, this is your number." I think she was going to clobber her husband at that point.
At that point, she was ready to collaborate, right on the top of the head. So, however, we fixed it.
You did, and we came up with a new idea this year.
So the new idea
is... For next year, excuse me.
Yes, the new idea. So when I write down a person's number on a red ticket, you know, they have long strips of tickets, depending on how much you buy. A lot of people write their number on all those tickets, but they forget. So we're going to put a little round sticky, right on the back of your hand, and it'll say your number so you can keep it with you at all times. If you want, you could stick it on your clothes, but that number will be with you that way.
Yeah, and we're hoping that that will alleviate some of these problems, because we really felt bad for the woman, you know, and that makes difficult, you know, times, and she was pretty upset. And then we came up with some other ideas that, you know, we're always trying to improve. And like Bev mentioned before, I'm up on the stage, I'm doing like 2 or 3 jobs up on the stage, and it is difficult. We're very fortunate that Sherry, who used to work at White's, is our MC that night, and some people were saying, oh, she talks too much, and other people saying, she did a fantastic job. I think the overall consensus was that Sherry did an awesome job, kept everybody entertained while we were trying to get through some things. It is very difficult, and let me tell you, at the end of the night, I am ready to go home and just crash.
Well, what ended up happening with Sherry was filling in the blanks of time.
Right, she was.
So while the staff, the volunteers on the stage were organizing where that tree was going to go, and if that person was here or not, and where are all the items under that tree, Sherry was filling in with jokes and just keeping the conversation going, and that was very important, so that we didn't have a lull in time. Right. Because, you know, it's boring when there's a lull in time.
Right. So we're really, you know, we've tried to upgrade, and again, we took everything in consideration. Our committee members and people, friends of theirs, family theirs had gone, and we asked people, you know, we look, and yeah, we always want to improve. You want to make it as best as possible. And, you know, I think we have some like new ideas, like the little stickers, and we also have a different way, because we put bags under the trees and boxes that when the stuff that comes in, like for example, Bev did the Margaritaville tree, and she had like 3 or 4 boxes underneath and bags, and they didn't use those. They used something else, and they already had labels on them. and then something happened. The labels were falling off. The sticky labels were falling off. So now we're going to purchase some staplers, and we're going to staple them to make sure that they're on there. And in the morning, I'm going to be responsible, which I already am, but I'm going to make it a little bit more responsibility of going around with someone and double checking and make sure that every bag and everything has a label on it that has been stapled. So again, it's a little bit more work, but we're trying to get to perfection, which we know there's nothing as close as perfection, but I like to be as close as perfection as we possibly can. So again, thank you all for coming.
And the businesses, all the businesses that donated the tree or volunteered their time. We had a lot of business people that were there that were we call them one-day volunteers from various community programs that we work with. They came in, they volunteered, they were baggers, they went around and checked the alcohol trees to make sure the alcohol stayed there. So all in all, it was a very successful event. We're very happy.
I remembered one more thing I wanted to mention. I know some people were concerned. They saw some young teenagers who are volunteers from the shelter going around and going into the bags. And what they were doing was uncrumbling tickets. So we've done this in the past, and some people noticed, and we had run out of volunteer tags. So there was a little bit of problem. One young lady didn't have a tag on. So we rectified that. What we're going to do is, I'm the one that does the picking of the tickets, or one of our volunteers up front with me. We're just not going to pick any crinkle tickets. So if you're one of those people that does crinkle tickets, we're not going to select those. And that way, we're not going to have anyone going in and putting their hands in the bag and saying, oh, they're uncrinkling tickets. They're saying, oh, they're taking tickets out. And people got an uproar. And I'm the person that they look for complaints, or my VP, Susan. And we were very busy that day, to say the least. So we said, okay, no more. This is how we're changing that. So just to let you know that we do listen to the public, and we are concerned, and we appreciate everybody's concerns, and we'll do the best we can. So now we'll talk about our next event, Beverly.
The next event is called Drag Queen Bingo.
Yes.
This is a crazy event that we have been doing now. This will be year three. Year 3 that we've put this event on. It will be held at White's. It'll be in the same room that the trees were in. There will be a concession stand at that event also, and we will have our items up for sale, which are sweatshirts and candles and cookbooks. I think we'll have cookbooks till the millennium.
Yes, I think so too.
We made a lot of cookbooks. Please buy cookbooks at our events. So this event is a fun, crazy event. No children allowed. We do request that you are 21 and older to come to this event. We cannot tell you what the drag queens are going to say or do because these guys that come in, they're hilarious. And if you don't find that kind of humor that suits you, don't come to the event because they're crazy. I can tell you that. They're crazy.
They are crazy. And one of the the good things is that we are sharing with them. They have one of the drag queens that's a local drag queen has a community playhouse.
Hope Community Theater.
Yes, Hope Community Theater. Thank you. Thought I forgot, but I did remember. Hope Community Theater. And so we are going to share the amount of money the proceeds that we're receiving from this event. However, also know that the drag queens, they do change what they're doing. And if you've seen them before, it is the same 3 that we had last year, but they change their show, they change their songs,
the costumes,
and so on.
All about the costumes and the music.
Yeah, and they are funny. And if people get involved in the audience, then they act up even more. And what we tell people, we can't always get everything on this nice little poster that we have, but let people know that at the end, they will go and the 3 of them will do at least 1 song apiece before everybody leaves. So I think, I'm not a bingo player, but I've been told by several people that as soon as bingo's over, if they haven't won, people just get up and leave right away. And so we're telling you that, no, that's
this
not
is
the
about
case.
Entertainment.
Right, it's about entertainment and playing bingo at the same time.
You get the bingo in there, but you've got a lot of entertainment.
Absolutely.
So at the halftime, we'll call it like the halftime show, the 3 of them will come out and they'll dance and sing and do their thing. And then at the end of the bingo, they will also come out and dance and sing and do their thing. So if you're there for the entertainment, please stay at the end of the bingo game. There will be 10 games, 5 games first, and then the intermission, and then 5 games again. And if you're interested in sponsoring, call us.
Yes, please call 508 678-0804. We are looking for sponsors for the event.
For the games.
We are yes, we're accepting, we have 10 games. We're accepting monetary donations, and your names will be published at the day of the event. They'll say game 1 donated, like if you say you want to donate $100 and the game's $200, we'll put your name and another person that donated another $150 or whatever it is. We need that. We desperately need some donations for that. So please consider donating to that. And also, if you went to the first event and said, "Oh, I couldn't hear anything," we did. The second event was changed. I was ill that time, so you were there, and they did have the screen up.
So the queens themselves, it was Roger. Roger came in. He's got a better sound system now, and they're putting the numbers up on a video screen,
Nice.
as well as saying them out loud. So you'll see like a TV screen up on the wall, and they will have the numbers posted as they say them. So everybody, if they can't hear it, they can see it. All right, so that's going to help a little bit too.
So you can find the tickets on Eventbrite. You can find it on our website. It's on the poster here. And also know that this is a good time. We start early because people purchase them for friends and families to go on
Christmas presents.
So I think that's a great idea. And so we're asking that if you want to join us, the tickets are $40 a person.
And you can register on Eventbrite.
Yes, Eventbrite.
There
yes.
are no paper tickets for this event because some people are up in Worcester, some people are up in Smithfield. They come from all over for this event, so it's hard to sell paper tickets. So we post it on Eventbrite only.
And we do sell tables of 8. So if you have, let's say, a bunch of friends that you want to come with, and you want to make sure that you can be seated at the same table, the best way to do that is for one person to purchase all the 8 tickets,
and then
you
pay
buy
that
one
person.
ticket, and all your friends, family pay that one person, and hopefully they'll be nice and make sure they pay.
Right.
And I'm sure they would. And it's Christmas, you have to be nice.
Yeah, and all the tables of 8 will be reserved.
Right, reserved
and
tables.
What ends up happening, most of the tables are reserved by
Yeah.
the end of the night. We may have 2 tables that have people with like 2 people coming in. So if you come in by 1 or 2 people or 3, you're going to be at a table of 8 with other people that you won't know. By the end of the night, you'll know them.
Yeah, it'll be open seating tables.
Yes, it'll be open seating tables. And I believe last year there's only 3 open seating tables.
Was there? Yeah.
It was only 3. All the rest were reserved. So we'll try to make sure that we have a couple of open tables. We don't put the open tables in the back just because they're open tables. We mix them in the room. So when we assigned the tables by, let's say, a number with a name, so like Gail's last name is Furtado, so Furtado table, it's not alphabetical, it's not by number. We have the staff and the members of White's just walk around and drop the table reservation on table. So there's no special place, like you can't be in front because you ordered a table of 8 and other people are going to be in the back because they didn't.
Right.
It's just all random.
It's all random.
It's all
Exactly.
random.
Exactly.
And that's the only fair way to do it,
We try to be fair as much as possible all the time.
I mean, somebody has to be in the back.
Yeah, but
or the sides.
Right, but the way they've set it up now,
Everybody
doesn't
can see.
matter.
No matter where you sit, you can see.
Right. So now this is in January, and we're probably going to have another event in March. But I want to talk a little bit about, since it's the holiday season, normally I write a holiday letter and we mail it out into all our donors and people that have adopted from us and so on and so forth. But since we have grown, our number of mailing list has grown to over 10,000.
Yes.
And that
last time was a nightmare.
Was a real nightmare because we do our own mailing, which means that I have volunteers that are on our committee that they take them home, and Bev and I pick up all the products from the post office, and it's a lot of work. And unfortunately, when we did it for the celebration of giving in the fall, a lot was not returned. And we understand, people just, the economy is tough and so on, but the amount of money that we put out, as we all know, the price of stamps have gone up. I just went to the post office before I came here and bought 1 roll of stamps and 1 roll of postcard stamps. It cost me the shelter, $117. So with having
just for stamps.
Just for stamps.
Wow.
And then you talk about the mailing and the letters and the envelopes and all that. We decided that was just too expensive. We couldn't do that this year. So what we've done is we're using as many emails as possible, and we're sending out an email blast out from the shelter. We'll probably also have it on our social media. But if you're one of those people that doesn't use social media and doesn't have an email, or we don't have your email address, and you have donated to us in the past, please do so again. We have had a very difficult year, as I know most of you have as well. We have had to do a lot of renovation. Our building is 20 years old this year, and we had a lot of renovation on the building to do and also on the grounds. So our coffers are limited right now. We have another project that's coming up, and it's a few $1,000.
It is.
Because it's too cold in the front of the building when the customers come in. So we're trying to get that taken care of. And so that's our last project for this year, for 2022. 23, excuse me, I lost that year.
You lost a whole year.
It's been a tough year, 23, and it's been really difficult. And I know that some of you that are on social media have seen or listened to us on WSAR or listened to us on this cable TV station, that we have been asking people for donations for litter and for kitty food and for cat and dog food. And we haven't had to do that for several years. We've always had so many grateful donors that we've received that people just kept donating and donating, and now it has become very minimal, and we've had to request more donations. And luckily we have good people that donate from Chewy and Amazon and drop it off, and Jeff Leary and his wife from WSAR Prestige Auto, they're always coming down and dropping it off. If we're there, they give us a few bags to take back with us. So please, the animals, the shelters keeps going in the right direction. I want to say that, this sounds crazy, and when I saw the numbers, I thought it was insane, and I had to double check to make sure it was correct. We had 84 animals adopted in September. September?
It was September. That number was
84 animals adopted in September. We have cats, we have dogs, we have birds, we've had pigeons, we've had ducks. You name
ferrets.
It, we've had it. We've had parrots and ferrets, and you name it. It's like sometimes it's like come to the zoo. Yes, we still go by appointment only, just because like every other place you go to, we're short of staff. And it's very difficult for us to run the shelter and have people coming in and out and just wanting to look and not really wanting to adopt. They're just thinking about adopting. So since COVID, we started this, and this procedure is better, and we appreciate it. And also, I want to mention, too, that we have a code of conduct now. And the reason why Ariana and I and Bev put together a code of conduct is because we have had people that have come into the shelter that have not been very nice and have been rather aggressive with the staff, and to the point of where we've had to call the police in several times. I want Bev to explain to the audience why we have to inoculate an animal as soon as it walks in the door.
So if you imagine a bunch of animals all in one room together that are not inoculated, it would be the same thing as having a bunch of people together in an airplane that were never inoculated for any vaccines. You could have whooping cough in the plane, you could have measles, you could have C. diff. There are so many vaccines that you need to keep us healthy. So in an animal shelter environment, you have a bunch of animals. And these animals are all from an unknown origin, the majority of which are strays. So an animal gets picked up off the street from an animal control officer, you don't know where that animal's been, you don't know where it came from, you also don't know if it was sick, if it was exposed to any illnesses, or if it had any illnesses that were living in the animal for a long period of time. So we vaccinate an animal when it arrives into the shelter. And we usually call that the Bordetella vaccine. And that would be what we would call the common cold. So something very similar to a human having a common cold. Now, one, it's for the safety of the animals that are already in the building. And two, it's for the safety of an owned animal if an owner wants to come and get their animal. What we don't want you to do is come and get your own animal that now has a very bad infection because it was housed with a bunch of other animals. So you can see the reasoning behind that is to protect your animal as well as our animals. And then the other thing is there's a state law that says when an animal is in an environment like that, it has to be vaccinated. And that vaccine is called rabies. Now, rabies in our lifetime is not as rampant as it used to be. And that's because of the state law. All domesticated animals must be vaccinated for rabies. So if we don't know this animal, we have to have a vaccine for rabies. And a vaccine for rabies can only be given by a veterinarian, unlike Bordetella or distemper, which can be given by a staff. The rabies vaccine, we have to have a vet. So let's say your animal has been a stray, it's picked up by animal control, and you want to say thank you for animal control for picking up your animal, because animals get hit by a car all the time and they don't usually survive. So your animal got saved. It got picked up by animal control, it got brought into our facility. Now we had to give it a Bordetella. So you cannot say, well, my dog is old, I didn't want it to have a vaccine, because if your dog is old, it came into an environment like that and didn't have the vaccine, it's very likely that it would get a disease. So we prevented that dog from getting a disease. And then secondly, we're going to ask you for your rabies vaccine certificate. Do you have it? Because if you have it, then we don't have to give it to your dog. But a lot of people misplace their rabies vaccines, or they forget. So it's not a bad thing because you're not a bad person. It's just forgetfulness. So we have to tell you, if you don't have a current vaccine, we have to give it to the animal before it leaves the building. And that is a law by the state of Massachusetts. It's not something that we created. And a lot of people will say we're money hungry. God, that would be something.
That would be nice.
We're money hungry because we're making money on this. We don't make money on vaccines. I can tell you that right up front. Vaccines cost us a lot of money. We give it to your animal and we ask you to pay it back to us. So if you have not found your rabies certificate and you have no proof that your animal had a rabies, then we're going to give it to it, and then you're going to have a certificate, and we'll tell you that certificate's good for 1 full year. After that, you need to go to your vet and get it renewed, and that's a 3-year vaccine. And as far as the Bordetella, I hope you understand my explanation as why we have to give that vaccine when your animal arrives, for your safety and for the safety of all the animals that are in this community.
Yeah, it's a very difficult situation sometimes with people. We understand there are anti-vaxxers that, for themselves and for their animals, they don't want to give their animals the vaccinations. And so therefore, that's some of the people that will get very combative sometimes with our staff.
Hence the code of conduct.
Yes, hence the code of conduct, because it's become very extremely difficult for the staff. And our staff, I wish that we could pay them what they're getting at McDonald's, for getting rid of, putting out hamburgers and I'm not putting anybody down at McDonald's, but I'm just saying they make more money there than our staff makes. Some of our staff, with minimum wage having gone up the last several years, we've kept up with it, but it has been difficult for us. And having said that, I want to mention that we also had an emergency meeting a couple of weeks ago from the board of directors, because we have decided, after Ariana and her assistant Chantel, I asked them to do a survey for me because they were thinking about raising the cost of the adoptions for the animals. And I said, before we do that, I need to have some facts to go to the board of directors. And so they did a very good job. They did our local, locals.
Oh, they did the South Coast.
They did the South Coast. They did.
Right.
They did. Basically, you're
like
right. They
from
did
Boston to the Cape.
And Rhode Island as well, in there, and so on. So
a comparison of all the prices.
They did a comparison of all the prices, and then as board of directors, we went back and forth and spent several hours trying to decide how we wanted to do this. And I want the public to know this. This is the truth. We don't make hardly, if anything, we don't really. If you consider the fact of housing, food, electricity, the staff salary, the veterinary that we're doing, medications, we're losing money on every animal that we adopt out. So we're not in the business to make money. We're a non-profit organization.
It's the donations that keep us afloat.
It's the donations and our fundraisers that keep us going.
Afloat, right.
And we have one anonymous donor that gives us a check on a monthly basis. But who knows, how long that will last. We struggle every month and every day to continue to do this. So our prices are going to go up. They will go up in January, and but we're still in comparison to our neighboring
well, that's why she did that chart, like a flow chart, so you could see all the different shelters and humane societies and how they all match. So we're all in the same general category. So if you go to Boston to adopt an animal, and then you come to Fall River to adopt an animal, you're going to see the pricing is going to be about the same.
Right, and some of the problems at some of the local places, because Bev and I and some of our board members went to the Massachusetts Animal Coalition up in Grafton, and the ones that have the money, the big organizations, they have these adoption days. You can just go in and adopt an animal. And
free.
They don't vet them, but they have them, you can have them for free. Well, you know, that's nice, but we can't afford to do that in our in our area, New Bedford, Fall River. We can't afford to do that. So we're giving you the best deal that we can and continuing to do so. And again, not factoring in. Bev and I met, and I won't mention any names, Bev and I met with a vet who told us their prices were going up, and they went considerably high, and one of the highest vets that we deal with. And of course, as you all know, trying to get an appointment with a vet is almost impossible, and it's the same thing for shelters as well. So we went with her, and she's telling us, well, you got to factor all this stuff in, your staff and all that. And we said, we don't do that. We just can't do that. And just to let you know, too, we now travel once a month. Bev and I do a road trip to Worcester, Mass. We bring about at least 10 animals to be spay or neutered in Worcester, because we do have a program up there that is a low-cost spay or neuter. Yeah. So we travel there.
It's worth traveling, believe me.
It's worth traveling to do that. And Ariana, our director, also has the spay wagon come in several times a year now to help us out. So as you can see, we're doing the best that we can for you, people that want to adopt our animals, that want to give them a good home, a forever home, and keep them safe. And while they're in our protection, we want to give them everything possible available to them so that they can understand, you can understand, I should say, what we are doing. Even the prices that we have added on are not covering all the costs that we've just mentioned. And again, we also know that come January, we've talked to several of our local vets, they too are going to be raising their prices again, which is going to affect our pricing. So please be patient with us. If you love your animals and you want to adopt animals from us, please do so. We would appreciate that. And with this holiday season, I know 'tis the season of giving. Think of the animals. They're homeless, abandoned, abused, in a lot of different problems. But I think we all want to say happy holidays to all of you, and thank you for your support locally, because we really appreciate it. Bev and I have been doing this. This is 26 years in existence.
26 years.
We've been doing it for 25.
As volunteers.
As volunteers. We have some board members that have been original board members, and we all continue to work very hard and very diligently. We need volunteers. We are down on volunteers. We need volunteers. So please, if you want to give us volunteers, you can call 508-679-3063. And we have an orientation. We have a great volunteer program where you learn how to, set everything up. You work with a senior volunteer, and then you go on and you can volunteer at the shelter. But remember that the animals need your help. We need your help, and we also need your monetary donations. Bev, you want to add anything to this?
Well, I just want to say I hope everybody has a happy holiday. The animals will have a happy holiday. We'll take care of them and make sure that they're warm and cozy and well fed.
Yes. So from all of us at Forever Paws Animal Shelter to all of our viewers and to everyone here at the studio, we appreciate us coming back in here and working with the studio here and the people that help us out to let us do this show straight from the paws. I want to thank you all, and remember, it's the season of giving, so think of the animals, and please, any small donation, even $5, $10 is helpful. We take Venmo, we take PayPal. I can't believe the Bev the Treasurer didn't mention this. we haven't done Apple Pay yet, but we've taken everything, and we have on our website, we also have a Donate Now button. So thank you all, stay safe, keep warm,
Happy
and
holidays.